We're now going to make some scones, and that's to go with our strawberry jam that we just made a bit earlier. And the ingredients that we need are 2 cups of flour with a pinch of salt, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, a tablespoon of sugar, 1 egg at room temperature, a 1/4 cup of oil, a 1/4 cup of lukewarm water, and 1/3 of a cup of milk. So what we have to do is mix all the wet ingredients. So we put the water with the egg, the oil, and the milk, and we're just going to whisk that up quickly. After whisking those ingredients, we're going to add our baking powder and our sugar together with the flour and pinch of salt that was already in the bowl. I'm just going to give that a bit of a mix. And now we're going to add the wet ingredients to these dry ingredients. The idea with the scones is that we mustn't work the dough too much and over mix. So I'm just going to do this until it's combined. Okay, so it looks something like this. But before we turn this onto our board, I need to just grease the baking tray. Alright, this needs to be put in the oven just to preheat. And once I've cut out the scones, I will then lay them on here to bake. I'm going to lightly flour my board so that I can turn my mixture out onto the board and get it ready for cutting. You can see it still looks a bit crumbly. That's okay, because I don't want to overwork the mixture or the dough. Okay. And we're just gently going to press it down to combine it. Okay, so I've flattened my dough. It's still quite soft, which is good. And now I'm just going to use an ordinary glass. You can choose whichever size you like, depending on the size of your scones. And you're going to make sure that you dip it in flour so that it doesn't stick to the dough. And then you can start cutting your shapes. There we go. As you can see, they're not sticking, they're falling out of the glass quite easily. I'm just waiting for my baking tray to heat so that I can transfer these onto the tray and bake. Okay, so I've cut out a few of my scones. I'm just waiting to take the tray out and I'm going to place them on the tray. I'm going to use all these off-cut bits to make more. Okay, but this is what they look like. You can add things like raisins if you like as well into your dough whilst you are mixing it. Okay, so I've removed my tray from the oven. It is preheated. I'm just going to lay the scones on here. Don't put them too close to each other. I'm just placing them nicely on my tray. Okay, I'm just going to put these 6 in the oven. Some people like to brush it with milk or glaze it with a beaten egg, but this recipe that I'm using doesn't call for that, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, so now I've put the scones in the oven. They need to bake for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. While that's happening, I'm just going to use the rest of the dough that was left over to cut out at least maybe 2 more scones to put in when the others come out. And we'll show you the end result when they're done. Alright, so these are the ones that we've made from the leftover dough. My dough seems a little bit dry, so I've decided to glaze this or put some milk on it just to see the difference as to how it comes out when they're done. Okay, this is the end product of the first batch of scones that we put in. We're just going to cut this now and put some butter and our homemade jam. Okay, so we've buttered our scones and now we are putting some of our homemade jam. Okay, so this is our end product, making our scones and our jam for today. I hope you enjoy trying this out, and until next time, bye.